Allen's Heating and Air is your licensed Amana equipment dealer. Trust Allen's Heating and Air to install and service your heating and air conditioning unit. Allen services all brands. With the purchase of a new Amana unit, you'll get a lifetime warranty on the compressor. Allen's Heating and Air. Call Sean Clark or any of his friendly staff at Allen's Heating and Air. Amana Heating and Air Conditioners. Last and last and last.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 29 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the Michelin tire. Michelin, a better way forward.
Duncan Tire Company with 2 convenient locations to serve you. A.B.E. Meat Market is the market people from all over Georgia trust for always having USDA choice or higher quality beef. All our meat's 100% American, all the time. And we have all natural small chickens and chicken breast, homemade sausage, seafood, vegetables, cheese, buns, and charcoal. A.B. Lee's will have you ready to make a great dinner. Our vacuum seal meats stay fresher 6 times longer than regular wrap, and marinated vacuum sealed is also available upon request. Don't forget A.B. Lee's famous ribs, slow cooked on wood and ready for you to pick up and serve. All meats are cut fresh daily, only at A.B. Lee's Meat Market since 1981. A.B. Lee's Meat Market, Highway 257 in Dublin.
Welcome back, everybody. I have with me on the set our school board candidates in District 3. First of all, I want to welcome Calvin Sturgis, the incumbent. Welcome, Calvin.
Thank you, James.
And next, his challenger, Bill Perry. Bill, glad to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, James.
Okay, we're going in alphabetical order, just like we have so far this night. P comes before S, so Bill, we'll go with you
All right.
on your opening statement.
My name is Bill Perry, and this very month, I will have been married to my wife, Nancy, for 34 years. We have 3 children, Leah, Sam, and Emmy. I want you all to know that anyone that knows my heart knows that I will never say or do anything that I don't think is in the best interest of the children of the city of Dublin. Also, I would like you to know that the Board of Education creates an atmosphere of professionalism that draws industry to our city and our county in, of course, a partnership with the Development Authority and with the Chamber of Commerce. And I would like to be a member of the Board of Education and work closely with those current members of the board, especially Reverend Sheffield, our chairman, our superintendent, Dr. Chuck Ledbetter, and of course with all the children here in the city of Dublin.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And Calvin, your opening statement.
James, I want to thank you and TV 35 for hosting this debate tonight. I am Calvin Sturgis, and I'm the Dublin City Board of Education representative for District 3. My association with the Dublin City Schools began 21 years ago when I married a Dublin High School graduate and watched my 2 stepsons as they went through and graduated from the Dublin City school system. I am the proud father of a daughter who is currently a junior at Dublin High School and a cheerleader for the Dublin Fighting Irish football team. I am a member of Pine Forest United Methodist Church, where I volunteer with the youth program and their many activities. Services by Sturgis is a landscaping company that I started over 17 years ago. Prior to that, I worked in insurance sales for 12 years. I have a sincere interest in the Dublin City school system and the experience needed to serve another term.
Okay, thank you, guys. Calvin, I'm going to come to you with the first question. Let's get right to it. I am a student, and it seems teachers these days are not held accountable and look away at problems that arise. Why aren't they held accountable?
Well, our employees are held accountable, and it's unfortunate that maybe a student has noticed this, but any student, if you notice anything that a teacher or administrator is not looking at, if you would, let the administrators know that, that these things are being overlooked, and so that we can address those.
Okay, thank you, Calvin. Bill, teacher accountability.
Well, of course, Dublin High School has video cameras in the hallway and in many of the classrooms. Teachers are held accountable. If a dispute ever arises about anything, then of course they can simply go to the tape. But by accountability, I wonder if the person asking the question was thinking about merit pay, which of course is fraught with all sorts of problems. If they were talking about accountability as far as their behavior, the behavior of the teacher, how they teach, what they teach, how they discipline, then that's one thing. If they're talking about merit pay, that's another thing. Merit pay is just about an impossible thing to determine.
Okay, thank you, Bill. I'm going to come back to you on this question. Why do we continue to allow cell phones in schools?
Well, the Dublin Board of Education policy is a long-standing one concerning cell phones. I was talking to a parent who said that the cell phone their child has acts like a leash. They want to be able to be in touch with their child and their child in touch with them. Dublin School Board policy is very clear. Cell phones are allowed, but they are not allowed to be turned on, nor are they allowed to be out on a desk or out where people can see it. I do want to mention, anybody knows anything about cell phones today, these are actually opportunities for a teaching tool. They're so complicated and they do so many things. Also, cell phones provide teachers with an opportunity to show students what is and what is not appropriate to do.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Calvin, cell phones.
I agree with Bill. Cell phones are here to stay. They're not going away. And it is our policy at the school that you can have a cell phone at school, but it must be turned off and it must be put away. And I think we need to allow our students to have their cell phones at school so that they can reach their parents when they finish an extracurricular activity. And it's always also a technology tool to reach out to other educational areas. So I think our cell phone policy is a good policy.
Okay, thank you, sir. Calvin, coming back to you. This viewer wants to know, says, explain to me why we should build these over-the-top school buildings in any type economic situation, especially now.
I'm not sure what this person means by over-the-top. The classrooms meet the needs of the curriculum and instruction and are much more economical to operate than before.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bill?
Well, James, sometimes the government will choke on a gnat but swallow a camel. No money would have been forthcoming to Dublin City Schools had we tried to renovate what is now the old Dublin High School. I was speaking with a former chairman of the Board of Education about this issue, and he said that it was just common sense and math that we would save money by building a new school rather than trying to renovate the old one. So you can have a SPLOST, which of course is a special purpose local option sales tax, and that can be directed toward exactly towards something. But most of the property taxes and school taxes go toward maintaining the school, even though they also can be used to build a school. But it just came down to common sense, according to this former board member, that it was cheaper to build a new school than to renovate.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Next question coming to you, Bill. Being so far behind in education, would you vote for year-round school?
Well, that's certainly an interesting question. First of all, I'm not saying that we are that far behind in our education here in the city of Dublin. I think we have the finest facilities and the finest teachers. About year-round schools, first of all, let me say I'm very familiar with schools that are going to a 4-day week, but I'm also familiar with 2 systems that go to what's called a year-round school. So let's make sure that we understand what a year-round school system is. That's a school system that would go 9 weeks and be off 2 weeks, then go 9 more weeks and be off 3 weeks at Christmas time, 9 more weeks and then 2 weeks off, 9 more weeks and then 6 weeks off. We're not all that far from it. Well, what is the problem? The problem is that the No Child Left Behind Act will not allow federal funds to be used for this year-round school system. No Child Left Behind has a starting point and an ending point, and so a lot of the year-round school money would be the issue.
Okay, thank you, sir. Calvin, would you support year-round school?
Well, I'm not so sure that we're as far behind in education as one might think. My question would be, are we ready to pay for year-round school? Because if we go to a year-round school, I'm not against it, but we have to be ready to fund that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Calvin, coming back to you. As a school board, are we passing or failing?
I believe we're passing. We're not where we want to be by no means, but we're striving to get there.
Okay, Bill, do you think we're passing or failing?
I think our school board needs improvement, and that's why I'm running for District 3 Dublin City School Board.
Okay. And next question for one of our viewers. Right after this, we're going to take a commercial break. Let's squeeze one more question in. Bill, I'm going to come to you. Why are so many young people on our streets during school hours? What kind of truancy policy do we have, and what about enforcement?
Well, Dublin City Schools has a truancy policy. Many people don't realize that a truancy policy has to be in place for each county. In that way, Dublin City Schools and the Lawrence County Schools have the very same policy. It's the juvenile court system that handles our truancy. Previously, it was Judge Tribble, I believe, and now I'm told that it is Judge Helton. And Judge Helton takes his job very seriously. After 5 days of someone being absent, he will speak to those involved, and after 7 days, he will take action. But the truancy is handled by the Dublin juvenile courts.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Calvin?
I agree with Bill. Our truancy policy is in line with the juvenile court system, and once a child has missed 3 days of school, their parents receive a letter. After 5 days, the policy actually says that they receive another letter. But I think the juvenile court system has made a faster step so that they meet with those parents on the 7th day. So our policy is aligned with the juvenile court system. So I think we have a good truancy policy.
Okay, y'all stay with us. We've got more of your questions coming up. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, my name is Janice Stewart. I'm a member of Lawrence County. I'm running for City Council in Ward 1. I would like to see changes in our water system, and I would also like to be able to develop programs that would improve opportunity for our children. I would like to also promote cleaning up of our neighborhoods, build more playgrounds for our children, support the after-school program for additional help for our children. I would appreciate for you to come out November the 8th, 2011, and support me as your new City Council for Ward 1.
Let State Farm agent John Mark Butler handle all the moving parts to your insurance. Whether it's auto, home, life, or financial services, John Mark Butler is there with more ways to help and more ways to save. Call or visit John Mark Butler today.
Hello, we're at your City Hall in downtown Dublin, the centerpiece for our community. I thank you so much for supporting me the last 12 years as your mayor, and I hope you'll continue to support me. We work together for the betterment of our community. Our City Council meets on the first and third Thursday night of every month, and we welcome you to come, share your comments, be with us, enjoy our meetings, and come see how your government works. We have a very open government, and our City Council is very active and part of this process. We enjoy a great quality of life in Dublin. Let's improve on what we've done, on the foundation that we've built, and continue that effort to improve the quality of life that we have here.
Welcome back, everybody. We are back with our District 3 School Board, Bill Perry and Calvin Sturgis. Calvin, I'm going to come to you on this one. Why do we have so many board members compared to Lawrence County and surrounding areas?
Well, James, prior to November of 1993, the school board members were appointed. In November of 1993, the state law was changed and local school board members became elected officials. They were aligned with the city council members. So we have 7 city council members and we have 7 city board members. We also have 5 county commissioners and 5 county board members.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bill?
Well, Calvin's exactly right. It was in late 92 or 93. It was the Justice Department that approved the configuration of the City Council. And for the Board of Education to adopt that same configuration made getting Justice Department approval a snap.
Okay, thank you, Bill. I'm going to come back to you, Bill. Why haven't we already consolidated our school systems? Do you think we're being good stewards of our money?
Well, you know, those are actually 2 different questions. And we need to ask ourselves, what are we trying to accomplish if we consolidate the schools? There have been other school systems around the state to consolidate, and I've read conflicting reports on whether any money was saved. The problems that arise with a consolidation of a city and a county school system are many, and they are varied. But in any case, it's not the Board of Educations that make these decisions. Both boards, the city, the Dublin Board of Education, and the county Board of Education, need to come together on a feasibility study, but really it's up to the voter to make those decisions.
Okay, Calvin, to you, what do you think about consolidation?
Well, James, the first question I would have to answer would be, or ask, is what are we trying to accomplish? And then, if we consolidate, will that achieve what we're trying to accomplish? The city would have to vote to give up the charter, and the city of Dublin would have to vote for the city board to give up its charter, and then the state would have to revoke the charter. So, I have to answer that with a question: what are we trying to accomplish?
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Coming back to you, Calvin. How many people are on the payroll in our school system?
James, there's approximately 390 employees in the Dublin City school system.
And Bill, I guess I should ask, do you agree?
That is correct. When you add the non-certified and the certified employees, it comes to right at 390.
Okay, that was a short answer. Okay, Bill, this will be a little longer, I'm sure, but what is your vision for our Dublin City school system?
Well, thank you, James. I do have a vision for Dublin City Schools, and the first one is that every single child who lives inside the city limits of Dublin should want to attend one of our Dublin City schools. Secondly, I would like for all of our students to be at or above the national average on any and all tests, SAT, ACT, CRCT, graduation test, no excuses. I'd like every student to be at or above the national average. Also, all of our students need to be on grade level and they need to graduate. And what may be the most important of all my visions for our children is 5 years after graduation, I would like to see all of our graduates be productively working or continuing their education for a higher degree.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Calvin, what is your vision for our school system?
James, I know once I answer this question, y'all are going to think that Bill and I sat down and answered these questions together. I have the very same vision that Bill has. I would like to see 100% of the children in the city receive their education in the city school system. I'd like to see 100% of our students exceed state and national measures. I would like to see 100% of our students maintain grade level and graduate from high school. I would like to see 100% of our students be in post-secondary study or employed 5 years after high school graduation.
Okay, thank you, sir. Calvin, coming back to you. A lot of questions on this, a lot of questions on cuts. Should we expect more cuts in our school system, or have we seen the bottom?
James, as we all know, the cuts come from the federal and state level. There are no certainty that we're at the bottom, but we will do everything that we can locally to be sure that there are no more cuts.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bill?
Well, James, first of all, you know, I've been to many of these, and I've always been on the other side of the camera. It'd make for better TV if the cameras were on during the breaks, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I hope that we have seen the bottom. The good news is, though it's only slight, revenues are up statewide and locally. However, we can still probably expect a 1 to 2% cut on those items that are outside of QBE, and of course that's the quality basic education. However, here's the bottom line. By law, we have to balance the budget. Dublin City School Systems will balance the budget.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bill, this question to you first. With so many kids dropping out of school these days, what are we doing, or what can we do to reverse this trend?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that this is probably the nearest and dearest subject to my heart. You can drop out at age 16, but that's not what we're finding is happening. What we're finding is that 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds are tuning out or dropping out, and they're just waiting until they're 16. Very young children, the kindergartners and the first and second and third graders, they are excited about school and they want to please their teachers. But what happens as they get older is peer pressure comes in. They want to please their friends, and so many of them tune out. And the problem is that these children do not see the relevance of the curriculum to their lives. So here's what the superintendent has done. At Susie Dasher's school, he has initiated a program called STEM. It is science, technology, engineering, and math. At Saxon, the focus is on the arts. And at Hillcrest, there's a program called LEAPS. It's leadership, environmental awareness, and public service. Now, all of these schools teach the basics, but the focus of these specialties is on project-based learning. When students get their hands on something, when they can see the relevance of the subject to real life, they can grasp the learning. So while all schools teach the basic, the project-based learning focuses on STEM, the arts, and LEAPS.
Thank you, sir. And Calvin, with so many kids dropping out of school, what can we do to reverse this trend?
Well, James, we obtained two 21st Century Learning grants worth $1 million each. We had $2 million for credit recovery. These grants were to cover teachers, tutoring, transportation, and snacks for kids who have fallen behind and lost interest. Our graduation rate has gone from 59% to 80% during my term. Since this summer, we have graduated 7 students from high school after they have dropped out.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, this next question, we're going to take a break right after this, come back and wrap it up. A lot of questions on AYP status at Dublin. Calvin, what's going on with the AYP status at Dublin High School?
James, AYP is a state measure, the way that they measure our school systems. Every school system has to meet 3 target areas. The first target area is English, language arts, and math. The second is the number of students that pass the Georgia graduation test the first attempt. The third is the graduation rate. All of our schools met that with the exception of the high school, and they met that in 2 areas. The area that they fell short was the graduation rate. The graduation rate was 80%, and it needed to be at 82%.
Okay, thank you, Calvin. Bill, what's going on at Dublin with AYP?
Well, AYP stands for Annual Yearly Progress. And yes, Calvin's right. Dublin High School did not meet AYP, and it was the graduation rate that needs the improvement.
Okay, thank you, Bill. We're going to take a commercial break, come back and wrap it up. We've got 2 more questions. We're going to be talking about charter schools and dress codes for teachers, and we'll be wrapping it up right after this.
That was a swampland. He has developed it into something for the community, particularly for those who knew the property that was across from Susie Dasher. Those who don't know it, it was a swamp area. But look at it today and what it's doing in serving the needs of this community. We got to also remember that nobody has a monopoly on the seat of the mayor.
Amen.
And I do want you to know that I don't have any problem with Phil Best being the current mayor, but I think that he has served his time, and it's time for a change. We need folks who understand what needs to be done and don't take no for an answer.
Right.
In my 26 years on the City Council, I helped bring a lot of good things to the table for our city. If I'm elected, I will bring other good things. I want to start a clean water program for Ward 3. I want to hire 4 police, 1 for each ward. All he'll do is work that ward, keep down crime like we had on Cloverdale, where they tried to break in on Miss Howell and Miss Mercer, and they've had to change all of their locks and all of their windows. We don't want that. We have a great police department, but they can't be everywhere. And I will work for a better paving program for Ward 3. There's several things that I would like to do, and if I'm given a chance, I will do them. I'm J.W. Scarborough, Jr. I'm running for Ward 3 for the City Council. I appreciate your vote and support. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Been a long night of debates here. Live coverage on TV 35. On deck, we have Mayor Phil Best and Reverend Johnny Vaughn in our mayor's debate. 2 final questions. Bill, coming to you. How will our kids benefit from a charter school system?
Well, James, everybody's got an opinion, and I'll share one. I'm not a big fan of what's called a startup charter school. A startup school will take some really top students away, and what may be even as important is take their parents away. It leaves some children behind. But the charter schools will encourage more community involvement, and not only that, they'll provide more flexibility in the curriculum to help students learn.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And Calvin, charter schools.
James, again, I believe Bill and I have sat down and gone through these questions together. There'll be more community involvement through our community council at each school, and the teachers can be more creative in teaching to reach our kids.
Okay, and final question, Calvin, coming to you. Why can't you put in a dress code for teachers to dress more professional and enforce it?
James, we have board policy GBRL that states all employees will dress professionally, neat and with good taste, and it's up to the school administrator to enforce it.
Okay, Bill, and last question here on teachers' dress codes.
Well, the board policy is in place. I taught at Dublin Middle School under Dr. Moore and Dr. Williams. Both Dr. Moore and Dr. Williams, along with Mr. Mike Millett and all the teachers, while I was there, always dressed professionally. There were days where we had school spirit day and dress down day for some function or another. But I consider it a non-issue at this point because in 3 years, all the teachers that I worked with always dressed professionally.
And Dr. Williams was a great example. He always dresses professional. Okay, we're going to reverse the order we started out with. Calvin, we'll go to you with a closing statement.
To the constituents of the 3rd District, you elected me 4 years ago, and it has been an honor to serve you. We have made great progress, and I have served you with integrity. I am looking forward to continuing the same relationship for another term and to see the projects that are underway completed. I have a sincere interest in the Dublin City school system and the experience needed to serve you 4 more years. I would appreciate your vote and support on Tuesday, November the 8th.
Thank you. Calvin Sturgis and Bill Perry, your closing statement.
Well, I am Bill Perry. My father was Bush Perry, and he was honored by the naming of the baseball field at Dublin High School because of his unfailing commitment to the children here in the city of Dublin. My brothers and I, both graduates, we've gone all the way through the Dublin City school system, and I am looking forward to being on the Board of Education where I will always put the best interest, the well-being of the children of Dublin first. I'll always keep the taxpayer very much in mind, and I'll also always try to present and create an atmosphere of professionalism that will draw industry to Dublin and to Lawrence County. I would very much appreciate your vote on November 8th for the Board of Education position in Ward 3.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Calvin. One final comment. We had a lot of calls today on the Georgia High School graduation test. We did not have time to get to that tonight, but just to you viewers out there, this is a state-mandated program signed by the governor. It is for kids entering their freshman year, and that's how that's going to work. The next 3 years, there will be a graduation test, but it starts with that freshman class. Has nothing to do with our local school board, so we didn't get to that question tonight. Wanted to give you that answer. Thank you, guys. Coming up right after this break, it is the mayor's debate, and we'll be back right after this.